What is going on, Knicks fans? Welcome back to Knicks Media. My name is Richie, and we have game number 4 of the New York Knicks preseason to talk about. The Knicks are undefeated 4-0, and we got a fun game to talk about from last night because this was the game of the rookies, the Precious Achiuwa game. The starters, as you guys know, did not play last night, so we saw the bench for the New York Knicks beat the starters for Charlotte. Now, I know Charlotte's not a good basketball team, but the fact that we have our bench unit going out there and beating the Hornets with our rookies, making plays, Bacome Dadier, Kolek with the playmaking, Ariel Hukporti with the stuffs, and then Precious Achiuwa, man, I'm excited to get into this one, folks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as usual. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Knicks Media. Big shout out to BetUS for always being the proud sponsor of Knicks Media all season long. Make sure you guys get your 150% bonus on your first deposit and 125% on your next two by using promo code YouTube150. That is promo code YouTube150. They got a lot of fun Knicks bets over there on BetUS. So definitely go check that out, and please bet responsibly. So shout out to BetUS for sponsoring Knicks Media. Now, getting into my biggest takeaways is, first, I think we got to talk about the rookies. Bacome Dadier, he kind of did not look good at all, I believe, in the Summer League, and he was our first-round pick. You know, Tyler Kolek kind of stole the show, I would say, in the Summer League. So it's cool to see Bacome Dadier finally have his moment. In the second quarter, I believe he scored like 16 points, had back-to-back-to-back threes in the corner, had a 4-point play, had a stuff, had a little floater in the paint. The best thing possible for the Knicks in terms of the long term is these rookies developing and then eventually, becoming role players for this Knicks squad, because we have our starting five together for a long time. You talk about Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby, Cat, and Josh Hart. They're under contract for the next 2 to 3 seasons, but the bench unit is going to be a work in progress in terms of the long term. And I feel like if Tyler Kolek can make some strides, if Bacome Dadier can develop, and I'm not expecting Dadier to play as a rookie, trust me, that's not what I'm saying here. And Ariel Hukporti, we all know we have a center issue in terms of depth behind Karl-Anthony Towns, with Mitchell Robinson still, recovering from his injury. But if these role players can develop similarly to Deuce McBride, his development has been a joy to watch. He's entering his 4th season. Jericho Sims, he hasn't developed as good as Deuce McBride. Maybe this can be the season where Jericho really takes that next step because he's going to have an increased role. But it was fun to watch our rookies out there. Cameron Payne, also off the bench, I feel like has been really impressive to me. Cameron Payne is the savvy vet. He had 36 minutes in this game, 16 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds for Cameron Payne. Not too efficient. 6 of 18 from the field, 3 of 9 from downtown. But I feel like his energy kind of fits the Knicks mold, and I feel like he's going to kind of level up that bench unit just from his presence alone. He's one of those guys that you hate to go up against, but you love having him on your team. So shout out to Cameron Payne. He's been impressive. Deuce McBride at a plus-minus of +12. Led the starters in this game. 18 points, 5 assists for Deuce McBride. So that is a good sign there. The unfortunate thing that happened last night was Landry Shamet went down with a shoulder injury. He has a non-guaranteed contract. He's trying to fight for this roster, but I think we can all agree that he's played well enough to make this roster, and now he has a shoulder injury. Not too sure the extent of it, but it did not look good. His shoulder was like out of his socket. He was kind of that player that we were hopeful that can kind of replace Dante's shooting off the bench, and he's been pretty impressive so far, so hopefully this is not a long-term injury and he can come back and be that sharpshooter off the bench. But the story of this game in terms of one individual player was Precious Achiuwa. Precious Achiuwa was the best player on the court by both teams, and Precious is coming off the bench for us. 20 points, 16 rebounds. I think he had like 6 or 7 offensive rebounds as well. 8 of 15 from the field, 2 of 3 from downtown for Precious Achiuwa, which is impressive. So it's cool to see that we have so much depth on this Knicks squad, where Precious played starting minutes for us, last season when there were so many injuries. When Julius Randle went down, Precious subbed in. His versatility is phenomenal. Hearing his press conference on the court after the game was awesome, where he's like, I'm just here to win. I'm a winning basketball player. If I got to play the 4, I'll play the 4. If I got to play the 5, I'll play the 5. Whatever the role that Tom Thibodeau asks of me, I'm going to do it, because that's the culture that the Knicks are really trying to establish here. Do whatever it takes to win, and I absolutely love that. So it's cool that Precious is back. He also said there was no other options for him in free agency. He wanted to be a New York Knick. It took a little bit in the summer for that to happen, but he knew he was coming back, and I'm happy he's back, because Precious could be a really big piece off the bench, man. He was putting the ball on the floor, hitting shots from downtown, dunking on people. The one-handed alley-oop from Tyler Kolek was a thing of beauty. So shout out to Precious Achiuwa for a big game in this one. And then outside of that, man, it was, Warren. I don't really see him making the team. He did have 11 points off the bench. Ariel Hukporty is a guy I kind of want to highlight a little bit more because he's dunking on people, man. I mean, you talk about 8 points, 5 rebounds, and a block shot. This is a guy that we drafted late in the second round, and the Knicks, just for some reason, they know how to find talent in the second round. Now, we have depth issues at the center spot. With Mitchell Robinson injured still, we have karl-Anthony Towns, obviously our starter. We're going to have Jericho Sims and Precious Achiuwa as the big man off the bench, and then Ariel Hukporty is the next man up. You know what I mean? So I hope there's no injuries this season, but maybe Ariel Hukporty can develop into a guy that can make some impact. I feel like he has the size, he has the athleticism, he can yam on people. And look at Kolek, feed him down low, and then dish it out to our rookie Daddy A. The one thing I know about Knicks fans is even though we're on a different trajectory with our squad now, where we're not like, years ago, the Knicks were so bad that the only thing that got us Knicks fans excited was our rookies, young players, play the kids. Oh, we draft Kevin Knox, and we're trying to hype him up in the first round, right? RJ Barrett. I'm just bringing up all the players the Knicks have drafted, and that was what got Knicks fans excited, is the development of the young players. But that's not the case now. Now, we can allow our young players to develop on the bench, develop in the G League, because we have so much good talent and veterans that's going to start and lead us to hopefully a playoff run. That's the different dynamic that Leon Rose brought here, where when we draft a rookie, he's not out there as a starter anymore because the Knicks are that talented. So the development of Deuce McBride is a fun thing to see. The development of Jericho Sims, we'll see if he can turn into anything this year. And then also, you got to also talk about the development of Emmanuel Quickley, which turned into OG Anunoby. The development of RJ Barrett, which turned into OG Anunoby. Obi Toppin, like all the players that Knicks have drafted up until this point, even though they're not on the roster anymore, it impacts the current roster right now, if that makes any sense. So cool to see the Knicks go out there and see the rookies have their moment in the preseason, and I just can't wait for the season to start. We got one more preseason game to go, which is on Friday, I believe, in Washington, and then this is where the fun begins, in Boston on Tuesday, and then I'll be at the home opener against the Indiana Pacers next Friday night. So if Knicks fans, let me know your thoughts of the Knicks W, 4-0, the Knicks bench and the Knicks rookies were able to beat up on the Charlotte Hornets starters. That right there should tell you that, hey, maybe our bench unit is a little bit better than we think, because I think if there's one thing about this Knicks roster that's giving some Knicks fans a little, worry, it's the bench. We have an elite starting five. I mean, our starting five is arguably the best in the NBA, but the bench is a little bit, worrisome heading into the season. But seeing what they were just able to do in this game, it gives me a lot of excitement of Precious Achiuwa, Deuce McBride, Cameron Payne, of course. Jericho Sims, he did have 10 rebounds of 7 points. He looks bigger. He looks tough. So let's see if he can continue to make some strides. And then the rookies, you never know what they can do if their name is called sometime throughout the season or just in the long term. So Knicks fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments as always. Don't forget to like the video. Shout out to BetUS as always as well for powering today's show. Use the promo code YouTube150 to hear 150% bonus up to $2,000. Knicks fans, we made it. Knicks season's right around the corner, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.